having a great day. My name is Isam and welcome to the channel. So today I want to talk to someone who is looking for his first or her first motorcycle, and they want to start with this category, adventure motorcycles, and they don't know what to buy. And they are in the markets right now. They are on YouTube watching FC Motos and other brands like the KTM 390 Adventure, and they can't decide what bike to go for. I am here just to talk from experience. I'm not an expert. It's just I consider myself a beginner too. I've been riding this bike for 3 years right now, and I have ride with so many different people. They own different brands, and just from listening and watching YouTube and reading reviews and all that stuff, you know, I got few ideas like what bikes you can get started with and not to waste money in a brand new bike. Buying a brand new bike it's a bad idea, because if you are getting started, you are gonna drop that bike so many different times. You can be just in the parking lot or going to get gas or whatever. You can forget the kickstand and the bike is gonna go down to the ground and you will get it scratched. You know, you are gonna trash it. Like, so your first motorcycle, you better go with something used. And I have 10 bikes that are a mix between adventure bikes and a Dualsport bikes that you can pick one from, and you can use it for 1 year, for example, to learn how to ride. And when you get better, then you can move on and get your dream bike. So like, if you don't have the license yet, if you don't have the driver license or the endorsement for the motorcycle, I'm sure by the April or May you're gonna go to the school, get your endorsement, and you will be learning in a 300cc motorcycle or 250, maybe 500, depending where you go. Like if you go to the Harley Davidson Academy, they are gonna be teaching you in the streets 500. So like, to get started, you need to go with something in that range, something between 250cc until 650, depending your size. If you are a big tall guy, you can go with something like a 650. It's not gonna be intimidating or too much for you, but we are talking about few bikes, not a sport bike. Or there are some bikes, even if they are 600cc's, they still got way too much torque and too much power, and you can get in trouble, like the KTM straight 690 or even the 390. It's still got more punch on it that can get you in trouble. So you better go with something like from 250. If you are young, if you are just getting started, you are between 18 years and 25, you know, you can go with something like 250 or 300, and then you can work your way up. So here's a list of 10 bikes that are, like I said, they are a mix between a Dualsport and adventure motorcycle. So first bike, it's the Royal Enfield Himalayan or Himalayan 410, like the first generation they made, and they are like the 2020 until 2023. And right now on the marketplace, they are between $2,500 until like the most expensive one is going to be like $3,500. And these bikes, they are very reliable, and just to get started, like, they are great. The parts, they are so cheap. You can get them for really cheap, and you can do your own maintenance. Like, it's really easy to access to about everything, oil filters, the air filter, everything, and you can learn on it. And after a year, you can move to something else. So the Royal Enfield Himalayans weighs around 182 kilogram. It's around 439 pound. And when you come to the specs, so it puts the engine, it has a 411cc displacement. It's a single cylinder 4-stroke engine, air cooled with a oil cooler. Got electronic fuel injection. It works more efficient maybe than the carburetor, and it puts us around 24.5 horsepower, and got a 5-speed transmission and the brakes, they are hydraulic discs, and the tires, they are like, the front is 21 inch in the front and 17 inch in the rear, so it makes it really good bike to do some off-roading. It's good all-around bike to do both pavements and off-road. There is so many like riders, they took this bike like to some harsh and extreme places, and the bike been surviving pretty good. They are known very hardcore bikes, very reliable. So if you got some in your marketplace, like in your local, around here right now, they're running between $2,500 and $4,000. They are really cheap. So if even in the dealer, if you go to dealers right now, you may find them like for $4,000, and they're like only three or 4 years old. They're not very old, and they don't have that many mileage on them, and they're still a cheap way to get started. So the second bike is gonna be the Kawasaki Drz400, and this bike is a dual sport bike. It's a single cylinder that puts around 23.9 horsepower and 15.6 pound of torque, and the engine is 292 cc's, and when you come to the transmission, it got 6 speeds, so extra gear than the Himalayan, so that makes it more comfortable, you know, on the highways and the interstates. It's not gonna be like a big engine, but it's still gonna be a smooth ride when it comes to the high speeds. And so this bike weighs around 300 pound weight, like 278 dry, so it's not a very heavy bike. It's very comfortable to ride. It has like a tall seat, so it's set like really high, like not too high. It's a 32.3 inches, so it's gonna be a comfortable ride for someone who just getting started. And you can keep this bike, like people, even experienced riders, they keep this bike to have some fun in the trails and the fire roads and do some dirt if you like that type of rides. So the third bike is gonna be a German one, BMW G310 GS. These bikes, they are running right now like used in the marketplace between $3,500. The top is $4,500 to $5,000. So they are so cheap, and you can get like the 2018 model or 2016. They are very good bikes to get started into the adventure riding. It has like a 313 cc in the engine, puts around like 19 horsepower, and the fuel capacity is 11 liters, so you can take some long rides if you want to. Like, it got really good mileage, and the seat height is set like around 32.9, closer to the Kawasaki KLX. The top speed is 143 kilometers per hour. It's around 90 miles per hour, somewhere around that, and it weighs 169 kilograms, so it's 374 pounds, so it's 74 pounds more heavier than the KLX 300, the Kawasaki. And they are made in India. They are great to get started. It's not something that you're gonna keep forever. You learn on it and then you move on. So the fourth bike is gonna be the famous Honda CRF 300L Rally. And this bike, I don't know if you ever seen YouTube. It was going crazy with Itchy Boots with Alaska. She made a trip from Argentina all the way up to Alaska, and she ran Africa, like Morocco, all the way down to South Africa. She got so many people to buy this bike. I know 3 people of my friends, they got this bike. One of them, he still have it. 2 of them, they got rid of it after 1 year, but it's a great beginner bike. It's really smooth and got a 286 cc engine, single cylinder, and it liquid cooled, full injected 4-valve cylinder, So the suspension is already you know, kind of soft. So many people, they have to upgrade. If you are gonna do some aggressive riding, you will have to upgrade for better suspension. Got 6-speed transmission. So fuel delivery, it's fuel injected. The seat height it's set really high. It's 35.2 inches, but since the suspension is too soft, whenever you are sitting on it, you can flat both feet if you are on 5 feet 11 or 6 feet. You know, the wheels, it got 21 in the front and 18 in the rear, and weighs around 331 pounds. The price, it's running between $5,400. Top, you can find them like $6,000 and brand new. But used one from 2 years ago, like $4,500 to $5,000. It is one of the greatest bikes for beginners. So the fifth bike is going to be the Suzuki Drz400. So it's a dual sport motorcycle with the 398cc single cylinder, liquid cooled, and got it's a 4-stroke single cylinder, got 5 speeds as compares to the Himalayan. But when you come to the weight, it's not very heavy. It's 317 pounds, so it's a little bit lighter than the GS 310 from the BMW. So the fuel capacity is 7 liters. Got nice forks. Like this bike, it's made for some off-road riding. It does great like on road too, but it shines like when you want to do some off-riding. Like the starter is electric, so there is like the old generation, the ones they were making like in the early 2000, they were all like carburetors that are not fuel injected. But the new ones that they are making, they are fuel injected, and they added like some more electronics to it, like riding modes and stuff. But we're talking about old ones, so they ran in the markets between $3,000 and $4,500. And these bikes, they are very known of them. They are very reliable bikes, and they can run forever, and they are really easy to work on, to do your maintenance and everything. So this bike, it's worth like to look for if you are getting started in the dual sport riding or adventure riding. Just keep it in your list. Now I'm gonna move to some heavy bikes, some bigger bikes. They're still considered not that big, but there still can be like a beginner bike. So now I want to talk about the Honda CB500X. So this bike, it's been around for a while right now, and it's one of the greatest adventure bikes out there. And there is people like they've been riding them all across the country. And so this engine, it's actually 471cc. It puts around 42.6 horsepower, and the bike weighs 434 pounds. So it's not very a little bit heavy. If you compare to a dual sport, it's 100 pounds more, have more weight than a dual sport. But it's really smooth in the highways. Even in the interstate, you can cross like with really high speeds. Top speed can be between 98 or 100 miles per hour at 158 kilometers per hour. You got 6-speed transmission. That means you can cruise really smoothly in highways. And you just need to get some knobby tires on them and do some off-road. And especially like if you love to do that kind of riding. Like it got about everything you need. It has ABS. All these bikes we are looking at in this list, they all got ABS to keep you safe. So the next bike in this list is going to be the Kawasaki VERSYS 650. It sounds like a big engine, but actually doesn't put that much power. Is not very fast, or is not gonna scare you or anything like that. It delivers a really smooth power. It does great like in highways and interstates, And this bike, it's more street like oriented. It's not made for off-roading, but some riders, they put like knobby tires on it, or 50/50 like a Trail Max Mission tires or something like that, and you can do some gentle off-road. Like, you're not gonna be climbing some technical stuff or doing, sections where it requires a lot attention and stuff like that. You can do some fire roads, gravel just fine. The bike, it's a little bit heavy. It's pushing to almost 500 pound. It's 482 pound, and the engine, it's 649 cc. It's 4-stroke, 6 speeds. It's one of the best bikes out there. Like, it's super reliable, and so many reviews, they speak really well about this bike, and they are running like really cheap in the marketplace right now. They're between $3,000 and $4,000, like a 2015 or a 2016, and they are really, really nice. Like, the top speed of these bikes, it's 125 mile per hour, and I think it's enough to get you to travel around the country if you have to, and put up around like 64 horsepower. It's an excellent motorcycle. Like, keep it on the list. See what's going around your local marketplace. If you can find one for cheap, they're great value motorcycles. So let's move to the next bike in the list. It's gonna be the Suzuki Vstrom 650. So this bike, it's very known, it's very famous, like in the adventure world. It started like since 2004. They've been in the market for so long. They are very known of being so reliable, very comfortable, and they are great machine like for cruising, touring, and it can do some off-road too. And these bikes, like the first generation, like between 2007 until 2013, they are between $3,000 and $5,000. The engine is 645 cc's, 4-stroke liquid cooled, just like the most of the other bikes in this category. The fuel capacity can take 22 liters. It's around 4.8 gallons, and it sits around 32 inches and weighs 470 pounds, is 210 kilograms. This bike, it's very, very famous, so you can get in the net and see all the reviews. Everyone is happy with these bikes. So these like, if you are a tall person, over 200 pounds, this bike is not gonna be like intimidating, or it will be very forgiving, and you can get started with this bike. I knew few riders, they started with them, and they are great. So the last one is gonna be the Kawasaki KLR 650. It's this bike, it's one of the best adventure or dual sports out there. They are very cheap. You can find them right now for sale, like 2024, for around $4,900 or $5,000. There is a huge community of riders that they love these bikes. They are very reliable too. They set around 34.3, like the seat height. They're a little bit tall, but the suspension is soft, so when you're sitting on it, is not gonna feel that tall. The displacement in the engine is 652 cc's. They've been making these bikes since 1987. They are like considered dual sport motorcycle. To me, like a dual sport and adventure bike is about the same thing. It's just the adventure bike, it's mostly they got like a twin cylinder, like a V-twin or a parallel twin, like the GS, like the big ones. They got the Boxer engine. It's just like the adventure bikes that are known of being more comfortable on the road than the dual sport. So getting started, it doesn't matter. They're all adventure bikes. It doesn't matter. Whenever you are outside over 2 wheels, you are considered an adventure rider. Doesn't matter if you are on the cruiser or touring bike or whatever. They are all adventure motorcycles. to get started. You don't have to worry about all these details. So the KLR, it's one of the best adventure bikes out there. You know, it's a little bit heavy. It weighs not too bad, is around 487 pounds. The engine, we said it's a 652 cc's, and like you can find them really cheap in the marketplace between $3,000 and $5,000. If you want to get a brand new, you just have to go to the dealer, and they are on sale right now. That was it, right, guys? I hope you like this video. If you got any bikes in mind, you want to add them to the list, you know, go ahead, do it. Leave me a comment. That was the 10 bikes, guys. I hope you like this video. Please make sure you subscribe. Leave me a comment below, like if you have any ideas, any advice, criticism, whatever you got going on. Leave me that in the comments and help me grow this channel. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.